Well, we're very excited due to the changes in the Ulster County Department of Health guidelines. As of March 11th, we can now bring more students back to school. The biggest changes was the fact that if you cannot maintain 6 feet social distancing, you can reduce that distance to 3 feet with a barrier. So that'll allow us to bring many more students back to school. And transportation also changed that if you cannot maintain the 3 feet distancing on the bus, all you have to have is every student with a mask on and the windows open. Those two criteria will allow us to bring over 80% of our students back starting April 5th.
And that makes you very excited.
Oh, that's amazing. We've been waiting for a year to bring our students back to school. It's hard to believe it's been a year. We could not be happier with our students coming back.
Okay, so there will be 2 different phasing in of this time period, with elementary schools starting at a different time than high school students? And
yes, we're phasing it in for 2 reasons. First of all, our first survey was done with K-6. Our K-6 students will be starting April 5th, 4 days a week. Most of those classrooms, they can maintain the social distancing without the barriers. 7 through 12, that transition will start April 12th, with the students coming back because of the larger class size. A lot of the classes are as large as 30. Because of that, we wanted to make sure the barriers will be in. The barriers will be delivered April 1st.
The percentage of students who want to return to 4 days?
Right now, we're over 80% of our students that want to return. So we're very excited. This is awesome.
Will remote students continue as they...
Yes, all of our remote students will continue to the end of the year, those that have made that decision. And we're also going to keep Wednesday as our remote day. 2 major reasons for that. First of all, it allows us for our positive check-ins with our students that are 100% remote, and it's also our BOCES day. We send a lot of students to BOCES. They're being very successful, but the way BOCES is set up, it's a very unique schedule, so we'll still be running those buses. So Wednesday will stay remote.
Will the cleaning process continue?
Everything will continue as it's been the entire year. Our maintenance and custodial staff has done a wonderful job, so has our kitchen staff. So everything will continue, we'll keep cleaning. The only change has been the social distancing with the barriers. All of our other protocols will continue.
Transportation was a huge part of this.
Yes, that was one of our biggest barriers. Is when the original CDC guidelines came out, it was pretty much 1 student per seat, unless they were siblings or the same pod. With the new changes, if you cannot maintain social distancing, as long as students have their mask on and all the windows are open. So this will allow us to bring more students with the buses. I want to be very grateful to our parents. We have a tremendous amount of parents that have volunteered to drive their children to school. So if you think about that, every child that's driven to school is 1 more child that can fit on a bus. So we're very happy. Saugerties has actually added another safety protocol. We're going to load all of our students from the back of the bus to the front of the bus. Once every seat is filled with 1 occupant, unless their siblings are from the same pod, we will then fill from the front of the bus to the back. We're doing this so that the last students on will be sitting in a seat with somebody who may not be a sibling for the shortest amount of time and will be dropped off at school the soonest. So that wasn't a CDC guidance, that was something we as Saugerties added as another safety precaution to get more students into school, but also we want to maintain the safety of all of our students.
What if there's a COVID case during this time period?
Anything that happens where none of those COVID protocols have changed as far as contacting the Ulster County DOH, as far as contact tracing, all of that will stay the same.
And windows throughout the school?
Well, the nice thing now about spring is the windows will be open, and they can be open all the way. As you know, bus windows have to be remained open. That allows us to bring more people on the bus, and all the windows in the classrooms will be open, and now with the warm weather, they can be open larger and longer periods of time.
And what about lockers in the high school?
So we're still not at the point where we're going to use lockers. First of all, it's one more item that needs to be cleaned. It also is congregating. You know, when the bells change in the junior senior high, we're still going to have a lot of students in the hall. We all have our hallways, they're marked, there's a tape down the middle and there's arrows on the floor. When students are in the hallway, they're in the hallway for one purpose, and that's to move to the next class. We do not want congregating at all in the building.
All right, in regards to the barriers, what will students be responsible for?
So students will, elementary students, the barriers will stay on the desk. Elementary students do not change rooms very often. So that barrier will actually stay on the desk. In the 7 through 12, the students will have a barrier that they take with them. 2 reasons for that. First of all, they change classes throughout the day. Not every class will they need to use the barrier. We do have some classes that are small enough that the social distancing of 6 feet will be allowed. If they're in a classroom where that cannot happen, they will use the barrier. We'll also be using the barriers at lunch. Once again, during lunch, the students can have their mask off to eat, so we do want them using the barriers. We haven't finalized what the end of the day will look like. I know the student government and the administration is looking at, do they leave the barriers here and pick them up in the morning? So that hasn't been decided yet, but all that'll be in place prior to April 12th.
Excellent. And are our teachers ready to come back and have students come back?
Our teachers are thrilled. As you know, every time I have to pivot to remote, they're not very happy, especially the elementary. I've walked around, the teachers cannot wait for the students to come back. It's going to be like our first day of school on the 5th and the 12th. It's wonderful.